Hello, hello, everyone. And there we go.
Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Jai Guru.
Dharma Nirmala.
So sweet to see you all. So we're going to change our view. It's okay if we change
Yes,
ours,
you
Pramila?
can change your view. So you can
Okay,
see
good.
everyone, and everyone, please turn on your camera, whoever can, so they can see you.
So happy to see
So
you.
happy to be here with you all.
Wonderful to
We're
see
gonna we're
you.
gonna take your picture for just a second in your
So
little
turn on your
in your
video.
little postage stamps there. Hi everyone. Oh my gosh.
Kuldeep Ashish, Preeti,
Manju, Kamini,
Manju, everyone. Oh, it's so lovely to see
Neelam.
you.
Okay, there's our little selfie with all of you.
Little postage stamps. But
so
thank God for Zoom. Thank goodness we can do all this. It's
Yeah,
wonderful.
what a
There'll probably
blessing.
be more people toward the end of
yeah,
or halfway through.
so I'm sure already many people were trying to unmute themselves to say hi. I had not allowed it, but now everybody can say hi if you want.
Okay. Hmm.
Hi.
Oh.
Hi, Dharmadas and Nirmala.
Hi.
Hello,
So
hello,
good to see
hello.
you.
Hello.
Good to
Hello.
So
see
good
you.
to see you too.
Oh,
Hello.
Wow.
Namaste.
Namaste,
namaste.
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 And there's
Hello.
Kuldeep too.
Wow.
Hi, Kuldeep.
Well, welcome everyone. Welcome, and what a joy to be able to spend a little time together. So, Bara, you're in the driver's seat here, or if you want to, do you want to lead a prayer? Should we lead a prayer? What do you want?
Certainly, usually the prayer. So maybe we'll start with a prayer, and then we have asked them today to, as you well know, to talk a little bit about music and whatever they want in that subject. Although since we all as a community are going to go a little deeper into the oratorio in this month, we also asked them to maybe talk a little bit about that as well. But there'll be plenty of time for you all to interact with them and ask questions related to music or not. Uh, and yes, it's
Okay.
all to you now. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So let's offer a prayer. I think
That's all right.
yeah, you can repeat or not as you choose. It'll get a little muddled up, but anyway. Divine Mother,
Divine Mother,
Heavenly Father,
Heavenly Father,
beloved friend God,
beloved friend God,
great masters,
great masters,
Jesus Christ,
Jesus Christ,
Babaji Krishna,
Babaji Krishna,
Lahiri Mahashaya,
Lahiri Mahashaya,
Swami Sri Yukteswarji,
Swami Shri Yukteswarji,
beloved Guru Deva,
beloved Guru Deva,
Paramahansa Yogananda Ji,
Paramahansa Yogananda Ji,
all saints and sages,
all saints and sages,
lovingly we bow at thy feet.
lovingly we bow at thy feet.
Bless our satsang
Bless our satsang
and our lives
and our lives
with your constant presence.
with your constant presence.
Guide our hearts and minds
Guide our hearts and minds
to find thee
to find thee
hidden in our circumstances.
hidden in our circumstances.
Play the melody
Play the melody
of your divine love
of your divine love
through our hearts,
through our hearts,
blessing others.
blessing others.
Om.
Om.
Peace.
Peace.
Amen.
Amen.
So I took the liberty of bringing my guitar over here thinking I would lead a chant, and again, I think we have to keep everybody muted or it'll turn into a train wreck vocally. But unless you guys have solved how to do that on Zoom, which would be the
There is
holy
no
grail.
solution for that, so we will.
Okay, I didn't think so. Okay, but anyway, uh, I will attempt to do this in such a way that it doesn't overwhelm the Zoom software. I will also
Remember to turn on the original sound in case.
turn on, or yeah, that's where I am. I'm going to zoom this back a little so you can see a little better. I don't lead very many chants on the guitar, or I should say I don't willingly lead very many chants on the guitar, but there are one or two that somehow seem to go nicely with the guitar. So I'm going to choose one of those, and I'm going to change my volume a little to make it balance better on the Zoom. But this is Lord When in Darkness, Dio nella notte. I'll sing it once in Italian, and then we can sing it, or you can hear it in English once or twice. And it's just, it's evening where you guys are, and it's dark where we are. So even though it's morning here, it still sort of feels like night. And this is a wonderful introduction to the season of Christmas, which is kind of where we are right now, and drawing us into that longing, which is what brought Christ to this earth in the first place. So Dio nella notte, Dio nel buio, seguirò sempre te. Dio nella notte, Dio nel buio, seguirò sempre te. Quando mi perdo, quando piango, so che tu sei con me. Quando mi perdo, quando piango, so che tu sei con me. Vivo solo per amarti, oh Signore. Vivo solo per amarti, oh Signore. Lord, when in darkness, Lord, in confusion, always I'll follow thee. Lord, when in darkness, Lord, in confusion, always I'll follow thee. If I grieve or lose my way, only thou canst comfort me. If I grieve or lose my way, only thou canst comfort me. All I live for is to love thee, my eternal friend. All I live for is to love thee, my eternal friend. Lord, when in darkness, Lord, in confusion, always I'll follow thee. Lord, when in darkness, Lord, in confusion, always I'll follow thee. If I grieve or lose my way, only thou canst comfort me. If I grieve or lose my way, only thou canst comfort me. All I live for is to love thee, my eternal friend. All I live for is to love thee, my eternal friend. There's a line from one of the oratorio songs that I'm going to boost my volume back up a little. I hope that's not too much. I think it's all right. There's a line in the Swami's oratorio from one of the songs. It's a solo, and it comes later on in the oratorio. And the few were soon many. Let's see, is that right? Oh, shoot.
I think that's right.
Well, no, that doesn't lead to what I'm going to. Their needs were very few. In their youth, in their joy, all they asked of God was freedom to love. And I can't even remember which song it comes from. Seems to me it's one of the solos.
The few were soon many.
Was it? The few were soon many. Mm-hmm. Great multitudes came, drawn by the power of love. No, the brinkman mistook for the banks of a stream was revealed an ocean's broad shore. Christ's spirit embraced saint and sinner alike. Anyway, I'm losing it. But anyway, going back to the other song, I think it is a different song. Maybe Bara will remember. This is your pop quiz, Bara. Can you remember which song it comes from?
When Jesus went to Galilee and gathered around his.
There you go. There you go.
That's
Bam, you
it.
passed. Wow, flying colors. Flying colors. All right. Anyway, that phrase has always, for the 35 years since, or 38 years, whatever, since Swami wrote the oratorio, has always stuck in my mind. Their needs were very few. In their youth, in their joy, all they asked of God was freedom to love. And, you know, if you think of a sannyasi, a real one, you know, not a phony baloney just wears the orange because they like orange or because they get a free meal or whatever, but I mean a real one, that's kind of at the core of it. It's like I can't be bound by anything. All I demand of God is the freedom to love without any boundaries, without anything holding me back. No society, no strings attached, no nothing. And that's a really amazing sentiment. And that's kind of what this chant expresses too. All I live for is to love thee, my eternal friend. I mean, this one calls in a more longing sort of way. The other one is in a joyful, you know, youthful, let's go, let's just try whatever and make it work, you know, let's form a monastery out of thin air and somehow make it stick. Let's, you know, go share the gospel, or let's go, you know, tear the countryside up. But anyway, I just love the bliss of Swami's music. Conveys so much of a range of devotional consciousness and yearning, and anyway, it's just incredible. So
It's really been one of the most important aspects of our lives because we've been involved in it since our youth. When the few,
and we haven't grown up yet. Still working on that. But.
And I think one of the most important aspects of it is that as you study the music and learn all the words and sing them, the words keep coming back to you when you're in a situation where you need that advice. And suddenly the words will just pop into your mind. And it's been really, really helpful to have that kind of influence. You know, wherever you put your energy, that's what comes back to you. And so when you put your energy into Swami's music and to Master's music, then that's what your mind is filled up with. And it's the greatest blessing in the world to have their influence in your mind. It's very important.
If you think of all the possible choices of music, and of course in India there are, there's this enormous spectrum. And, what's popular is what's on the radio or what's playing, what the latest Bollywood, catchy kind of tune, song, movie, whatever. And in Europe, it would be something similar. There's popular music in Europe, and in America, there's popular music in America. And unfortunately, America's popular music sort of infests the whole world and inflicts itself on the whole planet. And the trouble with these things is that they taste good, and they're kind of like potato chips or French fries or, puris or something. I mean, they're really, really good. But if you make a diet out of them, it doesn't have a happy ending. It's like it fills your head up with salty, oily stuff, sticky stuff. And, that's one of the reasons that the chants are so effective, is that they get a little of that stick power, but it takes you to God. It takes your energy up. Whereas the other, and we get in the bad habit of thinking music is just something that you put on when you want to disengage from the world. Okay, I'll listen to some music and chill out or something. And there's nothing terribly wrong with that. It's just that we aren't using it to the most effective, highest octave. If you listen to Swamiji's music, yeah, you can listen to it to relax, but it will also keep moving your molecules around.
He said that he wrote every single note from a state of higher consciousness, and for the express purpose to uplift consciousness in other people. So it has that effect. And Yogananda said that he realized God in every single one of the chants that he's given us. And so it's like an open doorway. Every one of those chants is an open doorway to move into higher consciousness. All we have to do is attune ourselves. And that's everything. We just have to want to experience it, want to open ourselves to that music, and then it's just a gift, a open door to upliftment.
In the same way that devotional chanting for a Western ear is a little bit unusual, just a single melody line and
repetition.
The oratorio music may be a little bit unfamiliar to an Eastern ear, to an Oriental ear, because of the harmony, because of the intricacies of all of it playing together. It's something that we do. It's not something so much that I do personally. There are solos, yes, but the overwhelming power of the oratorio comes through in the choral pieces. It's really, that's those, however many they are, 15 or something of the pieces are these 4-part harmony songs. There are some duets and trios, but those songs really convey the spirit of it, and that's a different animal, that's a different vibration, and it's really helpful to think of it, to dive deep into it and meditate on it, because if you tug at it with your consciousness, the music keeps opening up. You know, you've undoubtedly heard. If maybe there's someone here who hasn't heard. Swamiji said multiple times, "If you want to know me, listen to my music." And to that, I would add, if you want to feel his consciousness and begin to experience the consciousness from which he wrote the music and the spirit with which he lived his life, if you want to actually start to own that for yourself, then sing his music and become an instrument for his music yourself. And that can start, you know, in the privacy of your meditation room, you know, listening with the earbuds and just trying to sing the songs through your own mouth and sing along with the choir. However you do it, it doesn't have to be some exotic, you know, suddenly you become a choir singer of great renown or something. But just to let that music work its way through you. It's the most amazing thing.
We have both been choir directors, you know, for decades, and one of the main comments that I've heard over and over and over through the years is that people will come up to me after a rehearsal and they'll say, you know, I almost didn't come tonight because of, you know, a multitude of different excuses through the years, but then they would say, but I did, and I'm so glad I came because I was tired, I was grumpy, I was upset, I was whatever. And it just changed my consciousness to have the music flowing through your body and your mind. You really have to do pranayam to sing. And when you're singing uplifting vibration, then your consciousness is changed. And that's the key to Ananda music. It changes consciousness. And it's actually one of the best kept secrets at Ananda, that it helps on so many levels in so many ways. And I know for me, singing Swami's music and Master's chants has been one of the greatest helps to me on this spiritual path.
In just to go a little farther with what I was saying about this music, the oratorio music and the harmony parts, the choral songs that have harmony, those represent kind of all of us working together devotionally to sing. So you have basses, tenors, altos, and sopranos. But it's also struck me that if you just look at that from the inside, we are not necessarily in harmony with ourselves either. So if you tune into that music, it gets the bass, the tenor, the alto, and the soprano parts of yourself to work in harmony together also. And, you know, we are often at cross purposes to ourselves. You know, there's
thwarting cross currents
of ego. Yeah, you know, one part of us wants to meditate. One part of us is thinking, oh, but I really wanted to see that movie. And another part is, you know, oh, but my family, you know, has been bugging me to this or the other thing. And it's like we have to harmonize all of that. And it takes more energy to do that. And Swamiji's music helps us to find that in ourselves. It's an actual experience and a beautiful one. And Swamiji himself really loved this music. And, you know, we listened to it frequently. You know, it was Secrets of Love, it was the oratorio, especially at Christmas time and Easter, the oratorio was on many times in our house, and sometimes other music too, but, you know, that was the main thing, so.
And when we think about how we're going to spend the precious moments of our lives, you know, what are we going to put our energy into? What are we going to focus on? It's really important to choose influences that are positive and can keep us moving in the right direction. You know, you think of human birth is hard won and extremely valuable. It's said that even the gods are envious of a human birth because so much can be grown through, so much evolution can take place during a human life. And so choosing influences carefully is very important if we want to get anywhere. We have to choose our friends carefully. We have to choose our input, and music is a big part of that. I remember once sitting in with Swamiji. We had gone to a bookstore in a mall, and then, as he often loved to do, we would stop for a coffee afterwards, you know, just have a little outing that was fun for him. And we were sitting there in the coffee shop, and the rock and roll American music was blaring, and he just said, I wish India and America would connect at the head instead of at the toe. Meaning, take what's good from America instead of this incredible cacophony that calls itself music. And with the chants too, we have ancient Indian chants, which I personally adore. Shiva and Krishna chants in particular, I love them. But they do have power. I feel that power. But Yogananda's chants and Swami's chants are our own family. And so it's that particular ray of consciousness that we're trying to attune ourselves to in every aspect of our lives. So you'll notice, like in the Spiritual Renewal Week Kirtan that we did last summer with Bara and Shamini and his brother Vayu and Surya and, you know, people from all over, we had just a little masala, you know, just a little, a Krishna chant, a Shiva chant, just a little bit, and then the rest was Master and Swami. So I would recommend that we try to have that balance, because it's their particular ray that we're trying to attune ourselves to.
And it's something that is given to us and has been given to us with a lot of love. And I cannot begin to tell you how many times Swamiji sat in the first row, you know, right on the aisle. You know, his seat was on one side of the aisle or the other side of the aisle center. So, you know, he'd be sitting like 10 feet from us or 15 feet from us when we'd be singing in one of these concerts. And the first few times, I mean, I was petrified. I was terrified of singing in front of him, especially the first time I ever did a solo in front of Swamiji. Oh my God, I thought I was going to have to go to the hospital. I mean, it's just, you know, this trepidation and, you know, and it was, over the years, it was made worse by the fact that his hearing was starting to deteriorate. And so he would get this look on his face that was sort of pained. It was because he was trying to hear. It wasn't because he was
not liking the
wasn't
music.
liking the music. But meanwhile, if you were on the stage thinking he didn't like what he was hearing and he was, you know, expressing displeasure, oh my God, you just feel the vrittis pop like popcorn in your spine. I mean, it's just really really warms things up inside, shall we say. So anyway, it's been an interesting, but think of how many times, and every time afterwards, I mean, unless it was an absolute disaster, he was so sweet and so supportive and so appreciative of our efforts, whether humble or beautiful. He just supported it. He just energized it. And, his musical taste was extraordinarily refined. I mean, he grew up with his own amazing voice, earned after lifetimes of singing devotional bhajans. And, he could have gone to be a professional singer. He had that good of a voice. And so he knew from beautiful music. And, here's all of us just kind of beginners learning our way along as best we could. But he just was always so sweet and generous with just supportive. I had a kind of a funny but very sweet experience when he wrote the oratorio. I was part of the construction crew that was building Crystal Hermitage. So for those of you who've been to Crystal Hermitage at Ananda Village, like for the 50th anniversary or whatever, I was part of the crew building those enormous buildings. And we were building around the dome, and then we were building over the dome that he used to live in. And we kept the dome intact for quite a while. And I remember at one point, we were just getting ready to kind of dismantle everything to really, really do remodeling in there. And he had written enough of the oratorio that we had some recordings, and he could actually hear it the way, we were about to produce the album for sale. And so he brought it in to have everyone listen. And he was on the couch sitting in front of me. So I couldn't see his face. But we listened to the music, and I think it was Christ is Risen, the Easter song, had just finished playing, and he had been kind of shaking his head like this. And I thought, uh-oh, because, I mean, to me, it was gorgeous. It was just stunningly beautiful. And so afterwards, I asked him, Swamiji, I saw you shaking your head. Was there something that you didn't like? And he said, oh, no, it was just the way I heard it. Now, that means that's what he heard when he was in Israel, when he was in the Holy Land. He was hearing the choirs of angels, and we were becoming his little angels here on this earth. And it was like, wow. So anyway, it was a very sweet thing. I was a little concerned because I thought, God, if that's not beautiful to him, I don't know. We got to go really, really high up to get to beautiful. But no, he loved it. And anyway, it was very sweet.
So do you all have questions or things you'd like to ask us? You can tell we love music, and we can go on and on and on, but we'd love to hear from you too.
I have two quick questions, if you don't mind. I'll ask one.
Yeah.
But what would you say is the main, and this is maybe intellectual, I don't know, but what would you say is the main difference between the chants and the music? Because certainly we have had beautiful experience with both of them, but could you elaborate a little bit on that?
So the chants kind of can follow you anywhere. I mean, the music can too, but the chanting, when Yogananda says chanting is half the battle, it's because chanting can take you to God and sort of give you that, take you into, prepare you so well for meditation that you're already meditating by the time you finish the end of the chant. It's like chanting can become such a pranayam that you're already in the state of pranayam, and then you begin your kriyas, or then you begin whatever you're going to do in your meditation, and you just launch. That is chanting is half the battle. the songs, Swamiji's music, Songs of Divine Joy especially, but all of his music, to me is operating in a similar way, but it has a different purpose, and that purpose is to show us how to live our lives. So it's like the chanting takes us to God, but it doesn't necessarily translate. And so you think of great sadhus down through the ages who have sung to God. I mean, it's a beautiful thing, but they don't necessarily relate to people. You know, you think of those of you who met Swamiji, who got to spend time with him, think of how he would take questions at the end of a satsang, or how he would interact with people over tea or whatever. Very human, very engaged, very approachable, and not at all kind of mysterious and removed and kind of inscrutable or something. You know, he just would ask you, talk to you, work with you. And that to me is what the music expresses and helps us to do and live.
Swami would call his music, the 4-part harmony songs that we sing, including the oratorio, he called that whole body of music philosophy and song. So, for example, in 1979, he led a nationwide tour through America and up into Canada, and I don't remember how many cities we visited, but he would give a free lecture on a Friday night and then a meditation workshop on Saturday. And we were there as a little singing group to sing a couple of songs at the beginning and one song at the end of these programs. And actually, as an aside, Swami would joke throughout the tour that we would sing for 5 minutes at the beginning, maybe 5 minutes at the beginning and the end altogether, 5 minutes, and he would talk for an hour and a half. And then at the end of the program on a Friday night, he would stand at the door and shake everyone's hand and, you know, greet people. And he said, this was the joke part, he said, inevitably people would say to me after I had talked for an hour and a half, "Oh, the music was wonderful." It's like, but he was making a point, as he was joking, that the music gets into people's consciousness in a very friendly, open, easy, receptive way. They aren't thinking, they aren't intellectualizing about the philosophy that he was presenting. They weren't questioning as he's talking. They weren't, you know, mulling over or thinking, getting distracted about something else. They were just relaxed and open, and the music came into them. And that's why it's philosophy in song. He's talking about all the lofty truths of this path that he gleaned from his guru, that he's passing on to us. But it's in a very easy to assimilate way. And so the music is our philosophy. It is the teachings. Chanting is devotion. Chanting is pranayam that's leading us to a meditative state. And so they are a little different, but the end result is pretty much the same. A receptivity to truth and a calmness and peace that leads to meditation.
I think that sums it up wonderfully. Thank you. Uh, if I just ask one last thing and then everybody can ask, but do you think is it like a prerequisite to like the music in order to be in this particular path, or is it something that comes naturally to people if they when they grow in attunement? And what about if one is not musically inclined necessarily? What do you say?
If you're not musically inclined, you can still wear earbuds and you can still listen.
You can, and if you were deaf altogether, you could put the music on your phone and play it right into your bones, right into your heart, and you would get it that way.
You could still feel it.
You could still feel it on some level. People have different taste. I mean, there's no accounting for taste in one way. And so some people, I can remember over the years many times, in fact, the man who directed the oratorio the first time himself was a accomplished musician of some sort. I don't remember how exactly, but George McClure.
Yeah.
And, so people who've made a profession of music, for them, Swamiji's music is often, it seems kind of simple because he doesn't, he's not trying to wow people at Carnegie Hall in New York City in front of thousands of people at the complexity, that's ego. That's the performer wanting to show how great they are. No, Swami's music isn't for that. But David Eby, who himself is a professional cellist, said that's how he first thought of Swamiji's music, and then he started playing it. And it was like, it changed his consciousness. He had to stop the car he was driving and pull over so that he could adjust to the fact that his consciousness just got changed. And so it's not a prerequisite. There's very little on our path that says you have to do this or that. It's more like, we put our altar in the east and we look, there's just things that you do because they work. You sit on wool, or you try to work with the elements the way they operate in your life. And so you can think of the music as that also, that it's just a big, big help. If you try to remake the path in your own image, then you end up with your own image, unfortunately. And that's, that anyway.
I remember many, many years ago, I really was into Celtic music. I loved the Irish female singers that had a range of just octaves and octaves. They could sing really, really high and really low, and it was just thrilling to me to listen to them. And there was one in particular that I just adored. And hearing Swami say that it's important to focus on our music and not get real eclectic about it, it was like, oh, I can't give up this singer, she's just so amazing. And then I started noticing what my consciousness did in reaction to listening to her. And after a while, I had to give it up because I realized that when I listened to her, I became more emotional. And I didn't need that. I didn't want that. And so I had to give it up, even though it was thrilling on a certain level. But I think Dharmadas mentioned this earlier, it's sort of like junk food. If you are just going to live on a diet of, chocolate cake and ice cream, it's really fun and you really like it for a while, but then after a while, you don't feel very well. So it's that with the music too. And it should be noted that Yogananda wrote out a whole list of prescriptions for how to use his chants. If you're wanting this, then sing that. If you're having this sorrow in your life, then sing this. And Swami Kriyananda also did something similar, with prescriptions for his philosophy and song. So it's just extremely helpful. If you have a headache, you want to take aspirin. It's not complicated. If you have a problem in your life, a sorrow, a confusion, it's absolutely valuable to take that into meditation, to sing those chants that will help you. As Swami said, he was in a mood and he put his mind at the spiritual eye, and 5 minutes was all it took to change his consciousness.
So a help, but we hesitate to say that I would say this, it's a requirement on this path to raise your energy, and the music will do that. Are there other ways? Yes, of course there are other ways, but it's a really, really useful, helpful one. It's also a really joyful one. It's just blissful. So different people have asked questions. Someone wondered if we would do a chant at the end. We can. We did one at the beginning, but we can also do one at the end. A link.
Oh, the Celtic music did that for you too. Okay.
Yeah.
It's universally rooted.
Well, there's a lot of sorrow. There's a lot of tragedy in that music, and so you feel it. A link of chants sung by you. Okay.
And it was Enya I was referring to, by the way.
Yeah.
Someone asked if that's who it was. Yes.
So we did an album called Wave of the Sea way back in the 90s. Did we do chanting albums in India? We must have. Yeah, we did.
We did one with
Vijay.
Yeah. Steal into My Heart of Hearts.
There you go. So there are some albums out there.
And we just did one.
We did one here.
When My Dreams Dream Is Done.
Yeah.
I think that's the most recent one.
Yeah. So either anandaindia.org or crystalclarity.com should have those.
Surely you have those, Bara, don't you?
Yeah, you can ask us also for the music. And also on the Ananda Sacramento YouTube page, they often do kirtan and stories, and before every satsang and things, they also sing beautifully.
Yeah, the kirtans, sometimes the sound quality isn't good because it goes through the YouTube machinery and comes out like hamburger. But anyway, it's some of them are quite good. So we love to chant, and we certainly do.
I think Preeti
What
wants
else?
to say something. People
Yeah.
can mute themselves also, by the way.
Hi. It's so good to be with you. And you were talking about Swamiji and the music, and it took me back to, I think it was 2004 when I I saw the advertisement for the relaunch of the autobiography, and I went to City Fort.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it was such a new experience to see him. I'd seen a few episodes of his conversations with Yogananda on TV, but to see him in his orange robes, and he spoke so beautifully. And then twice during that, you all came on in your jewel tones, and you sang his music. There weren't chants. It was just his music. And I think that entire auditorium was transported. I mean, yes, we are not I mean, that's not our first, I mean, when we think of devotional Sanatan music, we do not think of somebody with a guitar, and Dharmdas was there with his guitar. We don't think of that, but it just touched us so deeply. And the other thing I want to say is that you were such good singers, all of you, that one would just hum under one's breath, and one would feel so inadequate. And I remember one evening of enchantment, Dharmdas and Elizabeth, they, Lahiri, you sang Dark Eyes, and it was so beautiful. And then later, when she was encouraging me to join the choir, she confided, she says that when she came, she said, I was always very fond of singing when I was a child. But the family would just say, yeah, well done. And, they were never encouraging. She said I was a bad singer, considered a bad singer. And she came to Ananda and she would just, sing along with everybody. And she turned out so, I mean, it was so beautiful to listen to her.
Yeah.
And that gave me comfort. And the only problem I had, and I remember asking Nirmala, that I said, what do I do? When I sing, I just start crying. And especially Oh Master, which is a song I always associate Nirmala with, and I'm upset when other people take this part. I used to say, and she told me, she says, focus here, which is what I try to do. And I saw someone just ask about Desire, My Great Enemy. There's so many of your songs which are yours. I mean, there are many that even on Radio Ananda, they are in your voices. But there are so many which are just associated with you. And of course, that is one. So, and just one last thing. I really enjoyed that bit where you were a little confused and Bara prompted you. And because I just remember forever, Swamiji talking, whether it was in the drawing room or wherever. And if he lost his thread or he wanted things, no matter whether it was to do with the anything on our path or just any remote book in history or literature, and you were always there prompting him without a beat. So I really enjoyed the roles. You, the loss and Bara prompting.
Yeah. No, it's wonderful. Well, that's how it should be. We pass the baton down
Well, Preeti, I'll never forget you saying, because you lived in, just a few blocks from where we landed when we first came to India, and saying, you all just came for me. And that's how we started.
Yeah. Well, he came for all of us, but he came for us individually in a very real way.
That's so true.
And so, you can think, those of you who didn't meet him or spend time with him,
he came for you too.
He came for you anyway, because the music is just there waiting, go find it. It's not that hard to find. And, take it and make it your own. It's very sweet that some of you have expressed interest in hearing us, and we're happy to sing, and we do sing. I mean, every time we do anything, we sing. So we're certainly happy to do it, but don't leave it at us. Take it in and make it your own, because that's when your own life changes. And we grow, especially when we have to reach for it a little bit. We have to work at it a little bit. It's a little bit unfamiliar. I didn't grow up singing in choirs. Once when I was 8 or 9 years old, I sang in a choir. Okay, fine. But otherwise, it wasn't until at Ananda that I started singing parts. I had never sung parts before. So, that was a new experience. And you're trying to get the gallery view back again? Okay.
Sonal has a question,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, hi, this is Sonal from Delhi, and it's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I wanted to know, Swamiji has like 400 pieces of music, so it's a whole body of music. And can you share how, over the years, his style changed and how it evolved, and also what cultures he tried to incorporate and, through music, tried to add on? Anything around that? Like, I
Yeah,
love Derek Bell and his collaboration with that kind of music, and there's just so much there, but I can't piece it together. So if any thoughts you can share on
sure.
that. Thanks.
Yeah. So Swamiji started writing music because he wanted to help people. He just wanted to help people. And he had the sense for it. He wasn't trained as a composer, so it just came from his heart. It came from Divine Mother. So he just started writing the songs of divine joy, the secret of laughter, joy in the heavens, go walk like a man, what is love,
Farther
brothers.
away than the stars.
Yeah, he wrote a whole bunch of songs and started singing them to people. This was in the late 60s and early 70s. And that folk music style that some of those songs are written in was something that people could relate to. And so it was an easy, one person with a guitar, maybe one other person singing with him, but mostly it was just him singing a solo with him playing his own guitar. That was kind of where it began. But then Ananda's work kept growing. We were an ashram in the hills in California, and that was it. And then, an ashram sprouted up in Sacramento, which is where we live now. But it was just a house, and it grew to be this worldwide work. Well, every time it grew, Swamiji's music grew. It's almost like the music built the work in a weird sort of way.
And actually, he would say that.
Yeah, yeah. It in a very real way it did. So he brought in Celtic music in the 90s. He wrote music, Italian music. Some of the chants are in Italian, like the one I did at the beginning. And Indian,
Anywhere he traveled.
anywhere that he traveled, that he felt an upliftment of consciousness, he would try to capture the feeling and the spirit. Kind of so just taking Ireland, for example, he loved a certain kind of energy there. And it was not the melancholy, tragic sort of thing. There's a few of his songs that are a little bit that way.
But even those are uplifting.
But even those uplift you. They don't sort of depress you and leave you wishing for a whiskey, or something. It's like they show you the tragedy, but then they show you the catharsis, the transforming power in it. So everywhere that he wrote music for, he was trying to show the higher octave of that culture or that consciousness, because every country expresses it in a unique way, and every place. So his music, started off just as a solo. Then he started writing parts, so that Walk Like a Man wasn't just a solo, it was something that had 4 parts to it. And then came the oratorio in the 1980s. If the book that he wrote in 2013, The Story Behind the Story, I believe it's called. The story, is that right?
I think so.
Yeah, anyway, it's a book about his music, and he talks about a lot of the individual songs and sort of gives you a sense of that progression. But, he wrote a song about Hawaii because he had been there enough times, and it's a kind of a goofy song. He wrote a song of Mexico, Mañana, which again, it's sort of sweet, but it's like it takes some.
It's just fun.
It's just fun. And so he wanted to show the spirit of these places and spiritualize that energy a little bit.
And he was also, as you know, a citizen of the world. He was born in Romania, studied in England and France, and then came to America. So he was traveling transatlantic travel from the age of 6 months. So travel was always a huge part of his life, and he traveled to Egypt and Japan and all over the world. So from that global perspective, he wanted to unite people and bring people together in this vibration that is a salvation for people. So, it was coming from that, just that longing to serve, longing to share Master, and the vibration of all our masters, and to do it in a way that would be uplifting and fun. The early days of Ananda, when we were doing the music then, was just such a joy, because we would act out some of these funnier songs like Hawaiiana, which is talking about Hawaii. And so being creative with Swami's music is really a tradition at Ananda, and I hope that it will carry on through the years.
Philosopher and the Boatman was another one that we would act out. The story of the philosopher with his weighty knowledge trying to cross the river, and the storm comes up and they end up in the drink, and the philosopher doesn't make it and the boatman does, because the boatman knows how to swim. It's like, anyway, it's just sweet.
Showing that there are different levels of knowledge. Being intellectual is not the only way to be intelligent.
So I see little chats going off here like popcorn.
Risha really wants you to talk about Desire, My Great Enemy.
Okay. So Desire, My Great Enemy is kind of a university level chant. So you can think of, some of the other ones as you can start in grade school or junior high or middle school. But Desire, there's a lot in it, and I won't spend hours as I could talking about it, but just he's saying pranayama is our religion. If you go to Autobiography of a Yogi, there's a passage where Master is saying that Christ and Babaji have organized the spiritual technique of salvation, and this chant expresses that. Pranayam be thy religion. Pranayam will give thee salvation. Pranayam is the wishing tree. Well, pranayam is the wishing tree means everything that we want can be had with energy. We have to organize our energy. We have to focus our energy. We have to control our energy, and then we can attract whatever it is that we're looking for. But that's on an outward level. But the real satisfaction comes from inside. And Desire, my great enemy, with his soldiers surrounded me, is giving me lots of trouble, O my Lord. That enemy I will deceive, remaining in the castle of peace night and day in thy joy. We don't necessarily defeat desire, but we can sort of withdraw from desire. We can kind of escape the clutches of desire by being in joy, by being in God's bliss. And I just love, and those of you who know the chant, the final little stanza, control the little pranayam, become all-pervading pranayam. You won't have to fear anything anymore. If you think of that and make that a mantra in your life, you won't have to fear anything. Nothing, not death, not disaster, not accident, not loss, not illness, not anything. Just try that on for size. And then tie that back to Swamiji's song, I live without fear. Though green summer fade and winter draw near, my Lord, in your presence I live without fear. And just connect all that, because it's very powerful and very real. We can think of it as, you know, oh, you guys are so lucky to have been with Swamiji. Well, yeah, we were and are. But you all are lucky to be together. You all are lucky to have grown up in India. You may not think so, but you are. So take the blessing that God has given you and learn to share that with others. And know that God's grace will flow through you in a unique way. If you haven't seen it, Shorjo and Narayani wrote a lovely little blog or a little posting. I saw it on Facebook. It may be in other places too. Somebody asked them to lead a satsang at a wedding. A friend, you know, somebody that they must know there in Mumbai. And they were like, I don't know, you know, satsang at a wedding? I mean, it's like, that doesn't really fit together. No, they really wanted it. So they did. They ended up doing it. 100 people came. And afterwards they said, you know, that person who asked them to lead the satsang became an instrument for something of Masters to touch those people. 100 people. You know, it's just a normal, typical wedding scene. Loud, noisy, commotion, whatever. Not a higher consciousness, but you all can be instruments for this. Not that you have to force it on anybody, but you just offer it. Just to offer it in some kind of way.
There was a question about what would we recommend as a lesson plan for getting to know Swami's music. And I will just say that when I first came to Ananda, as soon as I saw a harmonium, I had taken some piano lessons as a child, and it was like, I want to play that. And so within probably hours of arriving at Ananda, I was starting to play the harmonium. And I started leading chants, so that was my first foray into our music. And then after about a year, I was recruited to start singing Swami's music. And I let Master's chants go. I did them a little bit, but not very much. But we're getting other questions too. But for some years, I was so involved in Swami's music that I didn't give a lot of energy to Master's music. So after, I don't know, a few years, I came back to Master's music, and it was astonishing to me how much deeper I could go in Master's chants, having sung Swami's music. So from that experience, I would say that it's important to dive deep in one or the other and see how they influence your consciousness when you come back to the other one. And another avenue to take would be to listen to everything, because there is just a lot, and a lot of people have done a lot of different things. Panduranga, who was part of our Spiritual Renewal Week Kirtan that we did in the summer, has put out instrumental guitar albums, which are really beautiful. There's just a ton of choral music. Different singing groups through the years have done different things. We had a small group when we lived in India that recorded. Swami wanted us to record pretty much everything that we could. So it was Kirtani, Anand, Leela, and Dharmadas and myself. And Swami really liked those albums, the philosophy and song albums. So, you know, there's just a lot out there. So I would try to get a feeling for everything and just see which you prefer, what you especially love. A friend just sent us recently some of the albums that we recorded in the 80s, and I had lost track of them. They're just really fun to listen to. So maybe we can send those over to Bara too. And our video camera is just about to run out of battery power, so Dharma, we're going to lose you for a second.
Oh,
That was
good.
on time.
Yeah, very good that they told us right on time. Oh,
Oop, did we lose our?
we
Sorry.
see your ears. Ah, there we go.
There we go.
Here's our ears.
Zoomed in on a freckle. There we go. Back up a little. I don't know why it does that, but anyway. So let me just see. There was another somebody at the
Yeah,
end.
no more
Wave of the Sea. Oh
questions.
yeah.
But you know, it will be lovely if you can conclude with doing one or two songs again. Like, you know, that will be, I think, the
Okay.
icing on the cake. For
Okay. Okay. All righty. Let's. You know, we were gonna sing in the. You know, those of you who sing Swamiji's music. Go down lower, but there you go. Okay. Those of you who sing in any of the choirs, the Christmas concert is going to have Christmas Mystery, and I recorded mine the other day, and Nirmal is about to do hers today, I think. So maybe we can sing Christmas Mystery. Why are you taking it off? Okay. Okay. So should we not do it? Long ago there was a little shed, there 3 mighty kings. Sorry guys, I didn't put the microphone here. Ugh. One sec. Long ago there was a little shed, there 3 mighty kings did bow their heads to a gentle babe of low degree, whom men called the Son of Mary. Who'll tell to me this mystery, how a tiny babe in a manger laid could so many hearts to love persuade, this holy Son of Mary? Could it be that in that little one Spirit's universal love did shine? If it's true He lives in you and me, whom men call could so many hearts to love persuade, this holy Son of Mary.
Thank you all for being with us. It's just been a joy to see all of you, dear friends.
And if anybody can turn their video on, we'd love to see you one more time.
Yes.
Just
Thank you. We want to see your faces. Where's your phone?
right here.
Please don't go without singing Desire.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. I do have to get a harmonium, so it's going to take a second. Maybe here, maybe you can take a picture. All right. Let me.
Preeti is very greedy. Wants to
Preeti, I need your email. I was glad to see that you had not been checking that one that I'd been sending to, but I didn't get your real one because I think you just responded to a Jackie Lawson card or something like that.
No, that's Bara helped me with it earlier this year, and now that's okay. I'm receiving on that.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. Is that the Ananda India one?
Yes, yes.
Okay. There's the other page. I'm getting to see the other page of faces now. Thank you.
Oh yes, there is an option to remove the people who don't have their camera on, so that will probably make it easier for you to see only the faces.
Oh, that would be nice.
How do you do that, Bara?
You go to, I think you have to go to your settings. Let me see. I can tell you in a moment.
Don't be shy. Put your video on.
You go to the video settings, you will see hide non-video participants is there.
Okay.
Kind of below the.
Yeah, there we go.
No?
Hum.
Oh, here we.
Always display part. Oh no, that's not it. Turn off. Hide non-video participants.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay.
That's
Oh,
And
look at
there's
everybody.
Kanta G. Hi.
Hey, okay. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, now you have to take a picture.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and sing Desire.
So pranam for me. Pranam for me.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Desire, my great enemy, with his soldiers surrounded me, is giving me lots of trouble, oh my Lord, is giving me lots of trouble, oh my Lord. That enemy I will deceive, remaining in the castle of peace, night and day in thy joy, oh my Lord, night and day in thy joy, oh my Lord, night and day in thy joy, oh my Lord, night and day in thy joy, oh my Lord. What will be my fate? Oh Lord, tell me. Pranayam be thy religion. Pranayam will give thee salvation. Pranayam is the wishing tree. 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 Pranayam is beloved God. Pranayam is Creator Lord. Pranayam is the cosmic word. 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 Control the little pranayam. Become all-pervading pranayam. You won't have to fear anything anymore. 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 Night and day in thy joy, oh my Lord. Night and day in thy joy, oh my Lord. Night and day in thy joy, oh my Lord. Night and day in thy joy, oh my Lord. Night and day in thy joy, oh my Lord. Night and day in thy joy, oh my Lord. So I would like to suggest that we close by chanting Om together. And those of you who are muted, which I think is almost everybody, maybe we can all unmute because we can all chant Om together and it won't cause a disaster. It won't- Anyway, it would be lovely to send blessings into the world and just feel God's grace and energy flowing through us. So let's rub our hands together. Send out waves of divine light. God bless you all, dear ones.
Jai Guru,
Jai Guru.
the
Jai Guru.
light.
Jai Guru.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
God
Thank you so
bless
much.
you, great souls. You
Thank
are
you.
always in our hearts.
Oh,
And
thank you.
someday we hope to come and see you again when
Yes.
when it's possible to travel and et cetera, et cetera. But we miss you all very much. So
Yeah.
God bless you all.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Well, stay well. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Jai Guru.